Hey guys, so we are approaching the end of January here, and we know that we are due for one more big release this month before we move into February. And also, remember, Battle Hour was canceled this month, and I think whatever character we are going to be getting next, aka this upcoming week, is going to be what the Battle Hour reveal was going to be for. I've seen some people mention that the future Gohan and Trunks was supposed to be the Battle Hour reveal. That is not true. Whatever character we're going to be getting next was initially the Battle Hour reveal. So it should be a relatively exciting character, relatively strong character, pretty impactful character, I would say. The past two characters they've revealed at Battle Hour, I think last year it was obviously Super 17. 2 years ago, I believe, was Ultra Rose. I think Battle Hour was a little bit later in the year. I think it was in February because Ultra Rose dropped. I believe it was the end of February, Ram? It was either February or March. I don't remember the exact... I think it was February, right? Was it? I don't remember. It was February or March when Rose dropped, but he was the reveal at Battle Hour. So in terms of the actual characters revealed at Battle Hour, we have pretty good track record. So whatever is going to be revealed here, I think is going to be pretty either hype or strong or both. Hopefully both. So I think there are some candidates we could talk about here. But first, I want to quickly talk about the timing. I think there's two potential drop slots for this character. The first one's going to be the 29th, which is standard weekly reset. I could just pull this month up bigger here. I did a video specifically talking about the timing of this month's releases at the beginning of the month, and so far I think I've been pretty accurate here. We did end up getting a Blue Goku and Vegeta Zenkai over here. I even said I thought there was a chance we could get a Blue Gogeta Zenkai on the 22nd before they revealed he was getting one at the same time. So I've called basically both Zenkais here in terms of the timing, although I thought there wasn't really a high chance they were going to do both at the same day, but they did, which is pretty crazy still. We ended up getting the LF character on the 15th, which was pretty obvious. The 22nd ended up just being essentially the platinum equipment for Ultra Rose and that other like mini app update we got, which wasn't really that much. The guild versus guild system, I think, is actually going to be dropping next week. So the 29th or the 31st, I think, is going to be the most likely two slots here. I think those are really the only two slots we could really see. And I think it's probably just going to come down to what the release is. We have seen LFs come out at the end of the month before, but it's pretty rare, so we don't really have a ton of precedent to go off for those characters. But in terms of Ultras, because there is a pretty high chance I think this character could be an Ultra, if we go to the news, there actually is a, what is it called? A Sparking Limit Break banner? Yeah. They typically drop these when they're about to drop something really exciting, which, again, would make sense for a Battle Hour announcement character. So we'll see if it ends up being an Ultra. I think it's at least very highly likely on the table. If it's not going to be an Ultra, I think there's another character we could talk about. So, I mean, you look at some of the past Ultra reveals. I think the biggest candidate that illustrates this the best, if we go back to the full year here, back in February, the Ultra drop in February last year was Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. They announced Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan on, I believe it was February 27th, which is typical. They typically announce characters on my time, 11 p.m. Tuesday night, and then they usually release the following day. But because the final day of February was the 29th, they actually made us wait an extra day for Gohan to drop on the 29th instead of it being the 28th. So they just really like lining up end of month releases with the last day of the month. I'm sure it's not that tough for you guys to figure out why. Hint, hint, it has something to do with credit cards. What other characters? If we go back over here, I can take a look at some of these. Majin Vegeta is actually, I think, an exception to the rule, because Majin Vegeta, I believe, actually dropped, I think it was the 30th. I think he dropped on the 30th, so it wasn't actually the final day. They just dropped him on that 30th. Which is typical reset time. So, like I said, there are deviations from that, but they do sometimes tend to, I guess, delay releases until the actual final day of the month. Turles is another example of this. Turles dropped at the end of September on the 30th, right? They could have just waited until the 2nd of October to drop him, but they usually never do that, so they dropped him on the 30th here. What else we got here? Anything else I can remember? Off the top of my head, Hit. So Hit dropped, it was January 31st, I believe, 2023. So they dropped him here instead of waiting for a weekly reset, which was going to be the first, like literally a day after this. So I think, you know, they could go both ways, right? With Gohan, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, they literally waited to the 29th to drop him instead of just dropping him here. So when we take a look at January, for me, because they would have to wait 2 more days for this, right? It wouldn't be, oh, they just wait 1 more day like they did with Gohan to drop him on the 30th. They would have to forego, because I guess they would reveal the character here, and then would they really make us wait 1, 2, 3 full days to drop him? I don't know. That's why I'm saying I think it could really go either way. If I had to put my money on which day they would drop the character, I would probably say the 29th. But I would not be surprised if we got the reveal for the character on the 28th and they're like, oh, he's coming out in 3 days. So don't be overly shocked if that ends up being the case. But I would probably lean more towards the 29th being the day he drops. So in terms of the actual character selections here, I think there are 3 main options. Right now, of course, we are in the middle of this Legends Festival Afterparty celebration. I think what they'll probably do is they'll probably end up tying in this other character release under the same umbrella of Legends Afterparty. Actually, would they? That's an interesting thing I guess we could kind of talk about. Because events, does this show this? This co-op is ending. And basically everything else is resetting too. Like this event's going away. The after party raids are going away. The Ultra Space Time Rush is resetting. The after party like play every day and get rewards event is resetting. This event is going away. The Cell event is going away. Like literally everything is going away. So I guess, yeah, that actually means that it's possible that this is not tied into the quote unquote after party celebration. But I mean, we did get Future Gohan and Trunks as the LF character. We did get the Platinum for Ultra Rose Goku Black as this future themed after party continues. So for me, I think there are 2, if we want to talk about potential Ultra releases, there are 2 main Ultra characters I think that not only deserve slots here as an Ultra character, but also would be pretty exciting, I think, right? Remember, Dokkan is getting their anniversary like right around when this would happen, especially if they drop the character on the 29th. That would literally be the same day that Dokkan gets the beginning of their 10th anniversary. So, you know, I would appreciate if they didn't go with like Mega Rising Green Wasteland Bandit Yamcha and Red Launch like they did that one year. They actually did that, by the way. It was like Dokkan's anniversary, and then the same day they dropped Wasteland Bandit Yamcha and Red Launch on the same day. So let's not do that again. But in terms of the 2 character picks, I would definitely go with a Ultra Cell. This is a character that I think has essentially a 100% chance of dropping at some point this year. If we don't get him here, there's like almost a 0% chance we don't get this ultra perfect Cell by the end of the year. There's no way we leave 2025 without an ultra perfect Cell, and if we do, that is a major L. Okay, that is a major L. I'm just gonna put that out there. The second character I could really see this being an ultra character for is Fusion Zamasu. A lot of people, with me included, thought that part 1 of Legends Fest would be a Synchro Gauge Goku Black and Zamasu who fuse into Fusion Zamasu to utilize the brand new Synchro Gauge mechanic, which we still have not seen again since the 6th anniversary. Beast Special Beam Cannon is kind of a repurposed Synchro Gauge, so I don't really want to call it the same thing. They literally call it a different name, which is the Active Gauge, but I think getting some representation for Fusion Zamasu as a new character, we are long overdue for that. Right, we had the so the history of this character, we could even pull this up. The history of this character is very unimpressive in Dragon Ball Legends terms. I guess his name is Fusion Zamasu, but his thing is just Zamasu here, huh? Okay. Well, anyway, we could use this to filter out the characters. So this guy only has 2 summonable characters in the history of the game. He has the purple one, which dropped during the 2nd anniversary, and then we of course have the LF corrupted version, which dropped during the 3rd anniversary. So we are now over 3.5 years since our last summonable version of Fusion Zamasu. It's time. I think it's time. I think what they probably could do for an ultra character with Fusion Zamasu is they could have him start out as just a normal version, and then in the ultra intro animation, he goes corrupted. That's what I would probably do. I don't know how they want to do this. They honestly could just do 2 separate ultras, right? Obviously, they wouldn't drop like at the same time, but they could do a just normal Fusion Zamasu, because the normal Fusion Zamasu does a lot of different attacks too, right? So they have enough material, I think, from the series to just make 2 separate characters here. But in terms of what I would probably want to see, I think the best intro animation option for an Ultra Fusion Zamasu would be him going corrupted, like striking himself with the lightning and actually transforming into corrupted Fusion Zamasu. That would be the coolest thing, I think, for me to see. But this is certainly a character we are overdue for. And then the same thing goes for Cell. So we'll see if that's what they want to go with. Cell, I think, is a very easy pick. They could implement... Because if they do an Ultra Cell, I think it probably would end up just being perfect Cell, not perfect form Cell. So it'd be the Cell after he blows himself up and Goku sacrifices himself. That intro animation, I think everybody is expecting to see, like the scene where he revives and he shoots Trunks in the chest with the not special beam cannon, the death beam. I think it was like the perfect death beam, I think is what it's called. A lot of games call it that. Now, I'm not sure if they would implement some kind of... Can you imagine if they had like a new mechanic for that Cell? His intro animation is the death beam, and you start out the fight with the opponent fainted or something. When you use his intro animation, he faints the opponent frame 1. That is something they would do, right? So basically what you would have to do is you would have to lead off with a character. If your opponent is using Ultra Cell, you would have to lead off with a character that's immune to attribute downgrades in normal conditions just to not get caught by that. But yeah, that's what I'm expecting for like a Cell when I eventually do one. And the last character, so those are the 2 Ultra picks. If they don't want to do an Ultra character, and this is just going to be something we will continue to mention until it actually drops, because this could drop literally any week. It's inevitably coming, is Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta from Dama. There are now games that are starting to get him. Heroes, I was about to say Heroes. Super Divers is about to get him in the game. I think the Dragon Ball Super card game Fusion World is about to get him as a card. So we are starting to see that Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta from Dama start to appear in not really like, well, I guess card games. And well, Super Divers is an actual like arcade video game. So I think he's certainly on the table at this point and very fitting for a Battle Hour reveal, right? It's not like he's that old in terms of when he was revealed. So it is completely possible they were just trying to save the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta release and reveal until Battle Hour. So if they want to do a double Ultra month back, referencing last year, remember last year for January, it was not double Ultra month, a double LF month, Remember we had Universal Spirit Bomb GT Goku release in the middle of the month, and then the Battle Hour reveal and the release at the end of the month was LF Super 17. They could do something very similar this month with Future Gohan and Trunks as the middle of January LF character, and then the end of January LF character, if they want to do the second one, could be Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta from Dama, which would be a Battle Hour reveal, but obviously that's now not a Battle Hour reveal anymore. But that does kind of fit, I think. This would be the first like real game with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, because the one Super Divers, the second set of Super Divers doesn't drop until the 30th, so it would be literally around the same time. I think this is very likely as well. I do, right? We're about to head into February. I think with this week's episode, we're about to head into episode 15 of Daima. With this week's episode of Daima, I think we're starting our like descent into the climax. It's kind of like an oxymoron. The ascent into the climax of Daima. We're gonna have, I would say, 5, 6, 7 more episodes left. There's information to suggest that Daima is going to be 20 to 22 episodes or whatever it is. And so we are really heading into the final stretch of Daima, and I expect to see some pretty fan servicey things, right? That's typically how things go. Like Superhero, when Superhero was marketed, people were like, oh, this is just going to be some slice of life movie with nothing, no substance in it. But obviously that ended up not being the case for, to the surprise of many people, not me included. But I definitely expect to see some, new transformations, new fusions, new forms, new villains, all that stuff, all the fan service stuff. We're going to see that. So I think what they probably want to do is just get Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta out here and get ready for maybe multiple Daima releases in February, if not also March at the same time. Right? Because if they're dropping like a new form for Goku or a new villain or a new fusion or all of that stuff, or any combination of those things that I just mentioned, they're going to want to drop those things as soon as possible. And I don't know if they would do those for anniversary. So we're talking about like a February, March landscape that could be just littered with tons of Dama releases. And Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, as hype as he is, I would imagine we're probably going to be getting some more hype stuff than that, even though that's a very exciting thing. So I think they probably want to get Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta out. And I think if I was going to choose between those three characters I just talked about, Ultra Cell, Ultra Fusion Zamasu, and a Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, I think my money would be on Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. But again, I think any of those three options are possible. Of course, it could end up being something that I haven't mentioned. Maybe just like a random Ultra character, right? Because like I said, this final release of the month, like everything is ending, so it is possible this could end up just being like a non-related release. It could just be like a, I don't even know, like let's open the list of characters here. It could be I don't know, an Ultra full power Frieza or something, right? Just completely unrelated to anything we've seen in January. And that could be a one-off release, and then 2 weeks later we jump into something in the middle of February and it's unrelated. So that's possible too, but I think it's a little bit less likely than those three things I mentioned, just because we have at least some correlation with those characters. So let me know what you guys think of what we could potentially see at the end of January here. Again, this is going to be what was supposed to be announced at Battle Hour. We do have a Limit Break banner announced as well for this week. So, in fact, it might be already out. So, whenever they do those, there is something pretty exciting coming up. So, I'm thinking, you know, Ultra Cell, Ultra Fusion Zamasu, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta as an LF from Dama. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.